porn star about a revolution that you want to have on the internet, go for it. Good luck.
So
right?
you're
Our
conceding.
Constitution has lasted this long for a reason.
So you're conceding.
I just gave you. I'm saying that you don't have an objective morality and I don't have an objective
You're
morality.
right. So
we're
if,
on the same
so
Andrew Wilson debates and totally dismantles this OnlyFans lawyer in this clip from The Crucible, as Andrew Wilson and this OF lawyer Jasmine Jafar debate their opposing worldviews about society. Andrew gets her to upend her own argument in less than 8 minutes. All I can say is I probably wouldn't hire her after this, but it's fun to watch. So let's jump in and watch Andrew Wilson cook.
So I give you this hypothetical experiment, which maps on well to reality. Assume I came to the Christian worldview of ethics absent the belief in God. I believe everything they believe in regard to morals, but just don't accept that God is real. Jasmine, on the other hand, says the entirety of all human morality is adjudicated by her preferences, no different than I do in this hypothetical scenario. How do we determine who is right? We would have to go by utility or consequences. So I would like Jasmine to explain how a mother of 3 has less utility to society than an OnlyFans prostitute who has sex on Twitter for money. How does it maximize utility or give good consequences to allow incest? How is it maximum utility to allow necrophilia? And most importantly, how would my Christian nationalist society give bad outcomes by simply outlawing all of these things, all of them? What's more, how does society end up being worse consequentially off under authoritarianism, not allowing these entitlements? Also, why would it be immoral for Christians to be in power under a theocratic moral foundation instead of a secularist foundation of morality? Ultimately, Jasmine will agree with the universal morality of Christianity, but only take exceptions to the fact they won't promote degeneracy, which ultimately is all she wants rights for, degeneracy. She won't take issue for our morality on murder, charity, chastity, decency, virtue, duty, none of it. She'll only be able to make the case that she doesn't want the world I postulate because it doesn't allow for her brand of degeneracy. So with that, I yield my opening time, and I'm happy to get into the debate.
Just for the record, PWF is fully on board with fucking your sister if your sister is hot. Okay, anyway, let's get into the open panel portion. So have at it, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so I just want to say that I don't think that rights are rights if they just, my point isn't that we should only have rights when they have no harm. Most of the rights that we have some harm associated with it, but that freedom, and our country is founded on freedom, and it instead of religious dogma, is what outways that.
Yeah,
so
who cares?
Instance,
who cares what the
speech,
who cares what the country's founded on?
No.
We're having an argument.
Still matters,
just wait a
even
second.
though people
Hang on.
can say mean things.
I want
right?
to know.
You like your freedom to gun. Well, you said I could have a while to respond. You just went on.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Go ahead. That's fair.
10 seconds. And then you also say, like, so for instance, I assume you really like your right to own guns. Well, guns also harm people. Now, I believe in your right to the Second Amendment. And I believe that you having that right outweighs that your whatever harm that guns bring about, at least when it comes to generally the ownership of guns. I think Andrew's main thing is that he believes that because he believes in an objective morality, which even that, the only reason you believe that your God is better than other gods is only because of your subjective beliefs. At the end of the day, your morality is pretty much just as subjective as mine. The only reason someone would choose one religious morality over another is they feel that they has a better moral framework for objective truth. If you think Christianity has a better moral framework than Islam, you need a moral basis on which to judge that. And it can't be Jasmine, the religion itself.
I just want to correct this so that she understands. I've granted this worldview is true. I'm assuming that I came to the Christian ethics that I have under a secularist purview, meaning that I'm not saying that it's based on a God or anything else. I'm agreeing with you. I came to it completely subjectively. Why am I wrong and you're right?
So, but the framework you want to hold up is Christian. You want
yes, but I came to it
to be a
right.
theocracy.
So that's why I need to explain this to you. Right? Assume that these are. I came to the same exact worldview that I hold right now, just absent God through secularism. So I reject your notion of rights, and I reject your notion of entitlements. I reject your notion of everything. Okay. But I'm not basing anything on God. I'm basing it purely off of a subjective standard for the purpose of this thought experiment, meaning I came to all of these views through a secular ethos. Why am I wrong and you're right?
I would say you're wrong and I'm right, because at least in this country, your worldview wants to alter our history, our values, our national identity. I just gave you some reasons that secular countries tend to fare off worse than countries that are run by a religious doctrine as the law of the land. And I think
Jasmine, don't you
America,
mean-
one of the reasons.
I think you're trying to say better, right? Not worse. Secular.
Yeah. Sorry if I misspoke, but I would say that, like, if you don't like America, if you don't like the freedoms that we have,
then get out,
okay,
right?
Just do.
Then get out. If you don't like it, then
I mean,
get out.
honestly, yeah, I'm really proud to live here. So if you're basically saying that,
You know, I can understand Andrew Wilson laughing right there, although I might be laughing myself for a different reason because, you know, this OnlyFans lawyer wants to make the argument, oh, this is morality, so get out. Well, for the longest time, the left was on the opposite side of that argument, claiming discrimination, oppression, stuff like that. Oh, they didn't like it when the mantra was, oh, this is our morality, like her to get out. No, they worked, and slowly and surely, obviously, the system changed. But now you're wanting to say, now that we have this, oh, now it's our way, now you get out. It's like you're just doing the same thing. And I'm also not surprised that she just says, like, morality is just purely subjective because she doesn't understand it. Because the one thing that she misses it, like, if you talk about religion, especially, people, now maybe some people follow religion because it works for their lifestyle, something like that. But men, a lot of men, don't follow religion just on how it makes them feel, whatever. They follow it because they think it's true. They follow Christianity because they believe Jesus actually came back, which means the religion is therefore true and has merit because it's real. It's not about their lifestyle or how they feel or anything like that. No, like, we believe in it because we believe it's true based on the evidence. Now, you can argue whether or not our means are subjective or not, but we're not arguing on how we feel. We're looking for what's true and what's right, because otherwise we're just wasting our time following the wrong path, and then we look and feel like a complete idiot. Apparently, that's the one thing this woman, Jasmine Jafar, doesn't seem to understand. But leave a comment down below and leave a like. Let's get back in.
America's freedoms that they grant us are bad. And I'm saying, when I look at the world and I look at what freedoms other people don't have, like the countries my parents came from, while we have those rights here, I look at this as a good. And I'm happy to live here.
So
if
let's back up.
There, I think that's
so
true.
So hang on, let's back up, because you're not actually responding to this. I'm gonna tell it to you again. I'm assuming for a second in this hypothetical that I have come to the worldview that I hold absent a God, meaning it's just purely secular in nature, okay? And I hold all the same values I do, but I don't base any of them on some murderousness sky daddy, as you would put it, right? Why would those values be wrong and your values would be right if we're both subjectivists?
I mean, I'm not saying that your views are objectively wrong and mine are objectively
Then if
right.
my views are not objectively wrong, then me advocating for Christian nationalism and completely repealing everything in the United States to make it format around Christian values under a secular purview would be fine.
So yeah, if you want to sit here on the internet and argue with a porn star about a revolution that you want to have on the internet, go for it. Good luck.
So
right?
you're
Our
conceding.
Constitution has lasted this long for a reason.
So you're conceding.
I just gave you. I'm saying that you don't have an objective morality and I don't have an objective.
You're right.
Morality.
So
we're
if
on the same
so if it's true that we're just both coming at this from two different subjective worldviews, and you claim that mine is just as valid as yours, what is your argument for why it is that I should not impose my version of this on society and should instead yield to yours?
I'm not saying you shouldn't. You can advocate for it. That's what freedom of speech is. You can sit on the internet, you can have your channel, you can advocate for it. But our Constitution and our branches of government are this way, and they've been this way for a while. Now, there's little differences. Supreme Court may interpret the First Amendment in different ways. But if you want to get rid of the First Amendment, if you want to get rid of our entire country, America as it is, you have the right to try to sit there and convince people to do that.
Yeah, and
Go
you
for
don't
it.
think
I
that,
don't have a
but
problem
here's
with
the
that.
crux.
I just
Here's
think
the
it would
crux.
be a bad idea. And
So
the
you say
reason
I don't
think
have
it would be
a
bad
problem with
idea-
that. You're saying it's not immoral to do, so you have no objection to people doing it.
I have no objection to people trying to, I think just like our founding fathers decided to make this country based off reason, debate, winning in the marketplace of ideas. I do think that's the way to do that. So if you want to have a revolution with guns and overthrow people, I don't think that's good, but I can't sit here and stop you from trying to do it unless you're doing something, illegal, and then, the power.
So then, so then you have no moral objection to it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. And if we did end up, hang on, stop. Let me finish. So since you have no moral objection to this, since you have no argument against this, since you don't think that it's wrong for Christian nationalists to advocate for this, since you don't think it's wrong for us to go ahead and reform the entire nation or whatever purview that we want, what in the world is your argument to keep the status quo then?
Ask me, folks, I thought that was a pretty good thought experiment by Andrew Wilson. And it goes to show the problem with a lot of these leftist arguments in that, I mean, like she said, if everything's morally subjective, then this is where this goes. It just goes round and round. It just eats itself, and it will continue eating itself in circular logic forever because you don't believe in an objective truth. You don't believe in an objective reality. And that's why you can't build anything. Like this feministic reasoning, void of logic ideology, this is why this has never worked in all of human history. Not everything is subjective. And you can't even believe that way. Why? Because it just doesn't work. You can't build a society or a government or a building, right? You have to have objective truths in order to base everything on. Whether you're wrong or not, you got to have them. But arguing that everything is subjective and that we should just move that way will mean we all just devolve and eat each other over and over again. Just how, as she was at one point, probably the same person chanting discrimination and oppression, stuff like this. But now that the rules are changed and she's in the placement, now it's okay. Now the only rule is to have no rules at all, so all behavior can be allowed. Now that it works out for my benefit. And then Andrew Wilson is just going to take on the next form and then eat it again. Folks, this is why this thinking is insane. And this is a lawyer. This is a lawyer. Like, that's crazy, folks. But folks, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought about what Andrew Wilson had to say to this. OF lawyer, Jasmine Jafar. Like I said, I wouldn't hire her. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.